Hi there, this is Victorian Reviewer here. I'm doing Legend of Korra Season 4, Episode 8, Remembrance. This episode is basically a recap. I know many people were hoping for some fast-paced action scenes and a battle with Toph and Kuvira, but we got season recap. I know a lot of people don't like this idea, but I actually found it pretty cute, this episode. Now, this recap is nowhere as near as clever as Avatar Last Airbender, but I feel it does have some nice redeeming qualities. Also, there is this rumor going around how they were very limited on funding suddenly, and how this episode does consist of a lot of stills, which, knowing Nick, I would believe they did limit the budget for Legend of Korra. But I'm going with it for what it's worth. In the beginning, we're shown with Prince Ru realizing he needs to get his act together, and rightfully so after his kidnapping. Now, a little thing I noticed is he absolutely loves Mako's grandmother. Maybe Wu was left to his own devices when he was younger without a mother figure in the picture, resulting in him acting spoiled now to get attention. That's something I'm starting to pick out from because we haven't seen Prince Wu's parents at all in the picture. So I'm assuming it's something like this, or maybe I'm looking too much into it. But overall, I'm seeing that Wu is connecting to Mako's grandmother, and he's eventually realizing he wants to help his people. Now, Wu soon realizes he knows little to nothing about Mako and decides to rectify that with some good old-fashioned gossip and storytelling. Mako, of course, gives us his version of how he met Korra. I thought this was really funny on how Wu would comment on Mako's love life, about how he went to Korra, to Asami, to Korra, and then suddenly he decided not to have any females in his life. And Mako's cousin was dead blunt too when he was listening in on the conversation. And of course his grandmother, oh my gosh, I love his grandmother. She would make these quick remarks, just like your grandfather, Mako. But overall, I think even Mako realized when he was retelling about how he met Korra, how strong a person Korra is, and how he sees a lot of good qualities in Korra. I'm not sure if he is hinting he still has romantic feelings for Korra or not, but hopefully we will find out by the end of this series because I can totally see him still feeling like he has emotions and feelings for Korra. Now, after Mako's retelling what happened, we get to see Korra's version of what happened. Korra tells Asami about how headstrong she was and how ready she was to be Avatar when she first arrived in Republic City. But everything changed when she faced Amon and how he took her bending away from her. Then Unalaq came into the picture, ultimately destroying her connection to her past lives. And lastly, Zahir, and how he tried to kill her via suffocation. Korra did make some good valid points though when she was retelling this. If she never opened the portals, Zahir would have never tried to kill her. Zahir wouldn't have killed the Queen of the Earth Kingdom, and Kuvira would have never gotten to power. While harsh, Korra is right about the negative things that have come from her. And also, a side note, I believe Amon probably wouldn't even have started his revolution so early if she had never showed up to Republic City. But overall, I'm getting this despair sense of Korra, that is, if I was never born type of thing. Honestly, it's heartbreaking. But luckily, we have Asami to tell Korra about the good things she has done. She defeated the Equalist movement, giving non-benders a voice with elections in Republic City, and ultimately, she revived the Air Nation through opening the portals. Personally, all the stuff Korra has messed up on, she made up equally, resulting in an ironic sense of balance. But Korra did take what Toph said to her to heart, about how the world doesn't need the Avatar, how it'll be impossible to create balance. Now, this is my opinion. I believe what Zahir said is true from the last season about how chaos is the natural order. Basically, there will always be something going on in the world with or without the Avatar. I will be honest though, the best part of this episode was the final part with Varric narrating his retelling of the past seasons. Now, if you watched no other episodes, watch this one for one scene that made me honestly laugh. So Varric is telling how all the villains are Zahir, Master of the Sky, Vaatu, Supreme Dark Spirit, and Zombie Amon, plus the Wimpy Unalaq, are all the fearsome four. And Bolin, of course, will step in saying, how would they even communicate? How would they even talk to each other? He's going all logic. And Zahir, and we get this scene where Zahir phones Vaatu saying, glad I caught you at home. Why Vaatu is stuck at home, that tree. Now, and then Vaatu will say, ha ha ha, I get it because I can't leave this tree. Now, I believe they all got the original voice actors for this episode for the past villains, so I was absolutely fangirling when I heard Amon talk. I don't know if you know this, but I absolutely love Amon. I thought he was an amazing villain. But, of course, I just love how they made fun of Season 2 by insulting the sassy, over pompous Unalaq and how clingy he was, and how all the villains, Amon, Zahir, Vaatu, hated Unalaq. They even hung up on the guy. But, oh man, this is just one of those episodes you just have to see to believe. But I also love what Varric said at the end of the episode. Don't let the truth stop you from telling a good story. Which I believe is true because a lot of things that have come up, and especially in Season 2, might I add, they kind of contradict what happened in the series Avatar: The Last Airbender. And especially fans, like, we will talk about it. We will wonder. We'll put underneath the little magnifying glass and examine every part of it, the mythologically and the mythos in this series. But I think they're trying to imply don't look too much into it because you won't get the story. But overall, I just enjoyed this episode a lot. Now, I know this is sad, but we are getting close to the end of The Legend of Korra. I have made some guesses about how the series will end, and I'm sure many other people have made some guesses on how it will end. Personally, I think somehow, someway, Korra, she will die. Now, listen to what I'm getting at. Throughout this season, especially, Korra is realizing how unneeded she is, and maybe the best way to have balance is without her. I think Kavir will make a huge bomb, like a really big one, and make it as a weapon. And Korra will save a lot of lives for possibly everybody by sacrificing herself. Now, I could be totally wrong. We still have a good, solid 4 episodes to go to the end, but I'm starting to prepare for how this will end. And also, the whole Mako and Korra thing. Personally, I shipped my dark guilty pleasure for this series was Amon and Korra. I got a whole like Frollo type of vibe or a family opera type of vibe with that couple, but Mako and Korra I could see happening still, but I feel that Korra, if she does die, that Mako will search for her when she's reborn in the Earth Nation. If she is reborn, actually, but if she is reborn in the Earth Nation, I just imagine him looking for her and saying, I'm glad I found you. I spent a long time looking for you. I could just imagine that so much. But I feel like we will get a character death. I don't know if it'll be Toph, Korra, even Bolin may die for all we know. Because Bolin, like the way they're building up Bolin is that he's this good person. He believes in doing right. He won't leave a person behind. And Varric is an amazing, smart mind. Honestly, I feel this series could go so many different ways, and they had to wrap it up in like 4 to 5 episodes. Again, please watch this on Nickelodeon because they get the views. You're supposed to view it on there so they can see how many people are viewing Legend of Korra. That's where I watch Legend of Korra, Nickelodeon.com. So please watch on there. I understand people will post it on YouTube, but again, please give it like original. Please give thanks to the original support right there. Now, thank you so much for listening for the Victorian Reviewer here. Again, I always have a website, victorianreviewer.weebly.com. I may not post a YouTube video, but I do write about the episodes, and sometimes I'm slower getting the episodes out. Now, again, please look at the website if you want a more in-depth description about what I wrote, because I know writing tends to be a little bit more different than speaking here. And honestly, I would appreciate some comments on how I'm doing, because I don't know if I'm talking too fast for y'all, if I'm too long. But please feel free to holler at me. You know, I have reviews on comments or PM me. Or you can even email me on Weebly.com. But again, thank y'all so much for listening, and I can't wait till next week.